मेरा नाम है रजमुद्दीन और आप हमारे देख रहे हैं फेसबुक लाइव बियॉन्ड द यूथ 2021 पावर्ड बाय यूथ जनरल असेंबली। सबसे पहले मेरी और मेरी टीम की जानब से तमाम पाकिस्तानियों को जश्न आज़ादी मुबारक। जिस तरह के हमें मालूम है कि पाकिस्तान दुनिया का वो पहला मुल्क है जो कि नज़रियाती बुनियादों के ऊपर मार्ज़ वजूद में आया। इसी हवाले से बात करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं हमारे बहुत ही स्पेशल गेस्ट history and politics of modern South Asia. And he has published numerous research articles and journals on the relevant topic, as well as 5 books related to the related topics. So, first of all, thank you, Professor Iqbal Chawla Sahab, for your precious time on the behalf of your General Assembly. And as we have started, that our topic today is ideological history of Pakistan. So, could you kindly shed the importance of an ideology in the foundation of a country? Aren't you here, sir?
आवाज आपकी आपकी आवाज की कट रही है
बीच में। अब आ रही है आवाज, सर?
अब आ रही है।
Sir, my first question is regarding that could you please shed light on the importance of an ideology? किसी भी कंट्री के अंदर आइडियोलॉजी की फाउंडेशन होना कितना अहम है और what is the main ideological history of this country we call Pakistan?
आपका शुक्रिया. I feel honored that you have invited me on such a wonderful day when the whole Pakistan, whether Pakistani living in Pakistan or abroad or diaspora, all are celebrating 14th of August as Independence Day. Your question is quite interesting and genuine as well. What is ideology? It's a very recent terminology, especially used by sociologists in America to justify and to claim that American Revolution, they call it revolution, American independence. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Was not an accident. It did not happen accidentally. What they claim is they had some thought process. What is thought process? That they wanted actually liberty, freedom from imperialists. At that time was the United Kingdom. Same is the case with the modern nation states. When I say modern nation states, to my mind, essentially those who got freedom after the League of Nations or essentially after the United Nations organization, which actually acknowledged and granted them full independence through the UN Charter, etc., considering them their member states. So, Pakistan, luckily, Bharat, then some other countries who got independence after the creation of United Nations organization, they are modern nation states. Pakistan, like we say, that was created on the basis of two-nation theory. What is two-nation theory? It is little bit complicated. Nonetheless, when we go to India, when we say India, India mean before 1947, before 14th of August 1947, India means subcontinent. What subcontinent? It means continent, but of small size. Like it's a continent like Europe, Africa, Asia, etc. But it was a small size where there were so many nations, races, classes. But more importantly, Hindus and the Muslims were two major nations. While both of them were struggling for the independence of India could not guarantee each other for a peaceful future. Especially the Muslims of India felt that after the departure of the British, the Muslim would be enslaved on a permanent basis because of the political system, democracy. In democracy, the majority rules, and the majority was 70 to 75% Hindus. And to address that kind of fear, to address that kind of concerns, the Congress failed. Why failed? Because the person like Jinnah, who was titled, considered, believed an ambassador of Hindu Muslim unity, even lost hope after the uh, Congress ministries of 1937-39, when practically the Congress, when they came into power in all 8 of 11 provinces, introduced the system, what we call today the Hindutva, the rule of the Hindus, where there was, they tried to marginalize and actually marginalize the Muslims. And they did not care for the protest or Jinnah's request to let's address that phenomena. Anyhow, as a result, Jinnah was convinced that Allama Iqbal was absolutely right when he suggested that in a long way, in future, Hindu-Muslim distress tangle has reached to that point that the Muslims cannot live peacefully with Hindus. Therefore, he suggested that in the northwest, where the Muslims are in majority, they should demand a separate homeland. But later on, through his letters and other things, he also convinced Jinnah that let's demand for a separate homeland. Finally, Jinnah was convinced in 1939 that, oh, Allama Iqbal was absolutely right, and let's demand for the partition of India and the creation of Pakistan. The word Pakistan was never used in the Lahore resolution. Anyhow, in on the occasion of Lahore session of the All India Muslim League, many people delivered speeches, and Jinnah was the person who actually gave the rationale of the Pakistan. And that rationale was almost the same with Allama Iqbal has pointed that there are two nations in India and they cannot live together. But in a modern time, if you look at Muslim majority provinces, demographical factor, you can have your separate homeland. And the federal structure or federal system, which was introduced in the Government of India Act 1935, they had it had given provincial autonomy as well. And Jinnah had been demanding provincial autonomy since the Lucknow Pact 1916. And same was the case with the Congress, but it's a long story. But what I'm trying to suggest is that 40 to 47, not only Jinnah, but also his lieutenants, friends, colleagues, Muslim leaguers, whether they were religious clerics, provincial leaders, central leaders, all were advocating the case for Pakistan. It was not very easy because on one hand the British were opposing it, on the other the Congress party, now the Sikh came up with the idea of Khalistan state of Khalistan, and more importantly the Muslim, a sizable Muslim minority in India was opposing the demand for Pakistan. And they were suggesting that Pakistan, according to Jinnah's promises, will not address the issues of the Muslims of India. And they were not wrong as well. Because But where they were at fault, they could not see the political wisdom of Jinnah. Anyhow, that is later on when we ask questions. Jinnah very clearly and categorically had suggested that this separate homeland would be for the majority of Muslims of India, where they are in majority in northeast India and the southeast India, west, northwest India and south. Anyhow, Assam and Bengal, Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, and NWP at that time was NWP known as. But uh, unfortunately, he engaged into constitutional means and accepted all invitations for negotiated settlement, whether these were Rajgopalacharya formula or Gandhi China talks or Simla conference or cabinet mission plan. But finally, he accepted the cabinet mission plan. Some historians they suggest that Jinnah was after this, and he was ready to compromise. He compromised, but that's not, to my mind, that's a partial understanding of Jinnah's intent, because Jinnah had very clearly mentioned that the ultimate goal of Muslim League and Jinnah is the creation of attainment of Pakistan. Anyhow, when the third June plan or Mountbatten plan 1947 was imposed on Jinnah, and Jinnah was given, maimed, mutilated, and moth eaten Pakistan, which Jinnah hated. But Jinnah had no option. So, therefore, during this period, Allama Iqbal, Jinnah, and others, very honestly speaking, they had explained what kind of Pakistan would be, what is meant for a separate homeland, what will be the privileges of the Muslims, non Muslims, what will be the role of marginalized groups, what will be the position, status of women, religious minorities, ethnic groups, what kind of the federal structure. So he had given a wonderful, what you call is vision of Pakistan or ideology of Pakistan. To my mind, when Jinnah achieved a separate homeland, the two nation theory actually was over. What remained was ideology of Pakistan. What mean ideology? Ideological foundation. Ideology means the thought process, what they had in their mind, uh, a political or religious dynamics of a new state. So I have mentioned that I would end with this word that Jinnah Allama Iqbal wanted a Muslim majority country where there will be Islamic democratic welfare state, which is used by, used and misused by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and now, unfortunately, for political, uh, you know, slogans or rhetoric used by Imran Khan, that he is going to offer you a new Pakistan, and with the same kind of ideology which Jinnah had given. So what I understand ideology or the vision, it never comes to an end. The more you get your rights, more you are you are facing challenges, your ambition, your needs. Like in 1947, the car and the transport were not the needs of the people. Internet facilities or like these kind of things were, were not known to the Pakistanis at that time. So therefore, they could not dream of having that kind of thing. With the passage of time, with every decade, with on unfolding challenges and unfolding new realities, or like see IT revolution these days. So the people's desires, people's demand keeps on going up and up. But the basic ideology is that there would be a state of Medina where, or like Hazrat Umar Farooq's the period, that there was a concept of social welfare state where there won't be any unemployment, there won't be any beggar, and the children or the old people or everybody in the state would have fundamental rights, and it will be the responsibility of the state to provide food and shelter to its citizens. So the concept of equal citizenship or equal opportunities and rights, we believe as a Muslim, were given in the period of Holy Prophet and then the Khulafai Rashidin period, and that same kind of ideas, ideological foundation were laid by Qaeda Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. But unfortunately, we are still struggling. We are still, trying to give even basic rights to all the people living in Pakistan, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, color. Jinnah wanted to see that we should not see these kind of things. It's a state's responsibility to provide them, but the state, it will not. And by saying the state had been uh, uh, encountering, facing a number of challenges from 1947 to date. Like we had 4 wars, we were used as proxies during Zia period, then Musharraf period, and even today we are in a state of a great confusion, and our western border Afghanistan is, it's not because of the Afghan people's policy, it's not because of their will. They are in trouble. When they are in trouble, we are also trouble. If there is a, once again, uh, uh, a dawn of a new cold war era between America and now China, uh, Pakistan again is being viewed as used by these powers as proxy. But I believe that Pakistan has been survived and will survive and will live long because we as a Pakistani are great nation. Whenever a challenge occurs, we respond accordingly. We have proved ourselves as a like one of the greatest nations in the world because of our geographical location. Had Pakistan been in Scandinavian country, we might have not seen these kind of internal and external challenges. Since we are in that geographical location, geostrategic position, that we come across with these kind of external and internal challenges. But it does not mean that we have forgotten our ideological foundations. They are there, but it does not mean that ideological foundation, which I am telling you, is the final verdict. If some mullah says that, his opinion is the final opinion. But we need to remember and revisit the sayings and speeches and statements and the life of Ilham Iqbal and Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So once again, I would like to, taking this opportunity, I would like to congratulate the entire Pakistani living here or abroad. Have a happy Independence Day. But before I end, I would like to say I go beyond that, beyond the 2021 youth. You say, I call it Pakistani revolution. I declare here in your forum, although I have been saying in my university to my students and in many social and electronic media, that the creation of Pakistan is not just independence of Pakistan. It is not only, I would say that it was independence plus revolution. Why revolution? On one hand, we got liberation, freedom from the British, the monarchy, and the other, we feared, we rather were not untrue as well. We can smell that we are going to be permanent uh, slaves of the Hindu majority and Hindutva. And history has proved in recent years, when the BJP came into power, what they are doing to the Muslims and rather the religious minorities in India. But in 1947, India, the official India, which was created by the British, and India came for the first time in the history of India, came under one central government, was divided, partitioned into two parts. One officially is called Pakistan, and we are not hypocrite that we will say Pakistan and India, whereas our counterpart, the official name is Bharat, but they also carried on that kind of the word India. So right from the beginning, our ideological foundation, our heroes, our father of the nation was very straightforward, very honest. So therefore, I would say that congratulations and let's celebrate Pakistan. We don't have many opportunities to celebrate. Our maybe it's religious taboos or social problems or some others that we don't celebrate. This is the biggest achievement of 20th century, that the British em- Empire or imperialism, after the creation of Pakistan and Bharat, tried to tumble down and dismember. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your great remarks for us as well. As you have mentioned that this is independence plus revolution. So, just the last question: could you please just, as we are a youth organization, and am I audible, sir?
Yes, no, right.
Yes, sir. So
Yes,
just
yes.
thank you so much, sir, for your kind remarks. And I would just, at the end of the question, this is that as we are a youth organization and a large number of viewers are youth, so could you please just shed a light on the role of the youth in the creating ideology in history as well, and what could this youth could play role in future as well for Pakistan?
Uh, uh, First of all, let me thank you, Najam, Fatma, and other organizers for giving me opportunity to interact with the youth of Pakistan. Youth of Pakistan is actually, to my mind, the hope of Pakistan. And youth everywhere in the world play vital role in building state and society. But Pakistan is very lucky to have more than 60% of the youth. So you got wonderful. I mean, you have immense uh, potentials. We need to just need to polish them. We need to, as elders or our political leader or professors and all those uh, who are hem of their affairs, they should guide them and guide them to the right directions. Like you said, in the Pakistan movement, youth played very important role, and Qaeda Azam actually encouraged and instigated and inculcated Ilham Iqbal, always address the youth, and uh, and the youth really responded accordingly. Like if you see the woman in 1936 onwards, woman wing was created, and Madre Millat Fatma Jinnah, and then Ali brothers, wives, and mother. Then many other ladies like Fatima here in Lahore, how she really hanged a Pakistani flag on that a building, official building. The youth played very important role, whether it was Lahore Resolution in 1940 or 1945-46 election. They played important role in encouraging their elders or the voters to come out of their house and poll their vote. And then they also took part in the civil disobedience movement in Punjab and in NWP. Then the you know Mahajareen came, the migrant came. Suddenly, it was just unbelievable. In millions, they came to Lahore, and everywhere the youth provided them medical facilities, food facilities. So, to my mind, youth in the creation of Pakistan played very important role, and still they are playing important role. But unfortunately, there was a period when the students in colleges and universities, though they were vibrant, but unfortunately they had become sub-organizations of political parties. So as a result, they lost the actual goals. The actual goal is, irrespective of the political affiliation or attachment, they needed to address their own problems. I still believe that if I were a student, I certainly would say, तुझे क्या पढ़ाई पढ़ी अपनी निबेड़ तू. I should focus on education, and education, not politics for the sake of politics. Yes, politics for the training, how to address the student issues, how to organize, seminars, conferences, or trips, etc., etc. How to interact with the other organization in your country, in your provinces, and to raise voice against Kashmir problem, or like these days the Afghanistan problem, to create awareness among the students. So that should be the leadership role of the youth or the students. But unfortunately, I would not say the political parties have misused them, or I would not say the students were very innocent. But sadly enough, I would say that those who misused them, maybe 10% of them were in later in the after their education were able to get some economic benefit in shape of jobs, etc., 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 but they were spoiled. And I would say I'm not against any political party. Political parties actually play important role in democratic system. I would not say the role of your youth. I would strongly recommend, don't engage, don't make yourself available for these uh, misguided politicians or misguided internal and external, those pressure groups which they use. Look at in 1977, the youth were used when Islamic movement was started, and many of them were martyred. The leaders, they were just went away and said, "Oh, it happened. We had no idea." So youth should not become their, gunpowder. They should not be used by. If I like, if I am a student, if I am a youth, I will work for myself first, for my home, for my state, my society, and if I, utilize my potential to my, to maximum, so I'm going to become more useful and law-abiding citizen. I will not indulge into any feud or fight or irrelevant polemics and discussions. I would be healthy minded, and I would, if I am healthy minded, if I know my, powers and rights and duties, if I remain straightforward, adopt Sirat Mustaqim, trust me, if we start from individual level, there would be a new society, new state, which by training, by temperament, would be more polite, more civilized. And these are the youth actually who guide the old people, the young people, the children. But first, we, I would say, lead from the front. When Imran Khan Sahib was captain of the team, you always say, "Oh, lead from the front." But unfortunately, our leaders now are not doing that kind of uh, leadership role. They should play a really leadership role, but I will not address those, those in power. I would only request my youth, people like you and other members, please organize yourself. Please keep telling each other that these are our objectives, these are our goals. We are Muslim, we are living in Pakistan, we have so many challenges to face: personal problem challenge, family challenges, financial challenges. If we address those challenges, if you prove yourself as a better person, forget the better person, as a good person, trust me, you will earn money, you will kind name, and not for yourself, for your family, but also state and society. So therefore, I am very much proud of being Pakistani, because when I was a student in Qaeda Azam University, or before that Sargoda College and school, Sargoda College and school, I had only one dream: to become a sportsman or may play for Pakistan. I had played first class cricket. That was only my dream. That was only idea I had in my mind, and I moved towards that. Then I went to the university, Qaeda Azam University. I was divided. I was confused, but the system, semester system, the attitude, behavior of teachers, fatherly and behavior of the teachers, and conducive academic atmosphere of the university, automatically trained me, shaped me, and I felt as if I was only the education was my desire or my aim. So I left. I did not leave cricket. I kept on playing cricket, but that made me healthy mentally and physically. But I focused. It's being a sports person. What happens is, I was batsman. I was focusing, concentrating on the ball, that I have to play properly. So that automatically shape your mindset as well. So what you do is, you don't play that ball which is dangerous one. You don't overreact. You play calmly. You play defensive. When there is a loose ball, then you shot. You play wonderful to that ball, which can help you. Same is the behavior in your life, that whatever you're doing, whether you're a student or a businessman or entrepreneur, be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your family. It does not mean you need not to enjoy, you need not to make friends, need not to indulge into those activities which create wonderful atmosphere. Focus on education, focus on your job. Then trust me, if you are a successful person, you know ठोकर पे है सारा जमाना, जो बन जाए मेरा निशाना, मुश्किल है उसका बच जाना, क्योंकि सारी की सारी दुनिया मेरी जेब. So then you become successful person. Right, Najam?
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. You did talk about the basic ideology of Pakistan and why it is so much important. You also talk about the most vital in terms of creating Pakistan, which include two nation theory, democratic system, and the geographical position of this country. You also talked about the role of youth in history as well and in future as well. Uh, Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. And at the end, I also would like to congratulate all Pakistanis on this happy Independence Day, and keep on doing as sir has said, work, work, and work, so we could grow and make this nation proud. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Evan.